Alright, so guess I'm doing this one a little early today because I got time before I got to step into the job. Oh, man. So I had heard about the whole Phylicia Rashad deal. Couple people who I follow had posted about it, and I didn't realize it was as bad as I thought. Or it didn't sound as bad because I hadn't seen the clip. I finally had to go and look at like some clips of it today, and man, it's she tried so hard to give these young women some insight into how to deal with men, and they completely missed the point. And I think it's funny that they missed it so drastically. One, she started out by complimenting them. She said, "You're queens. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're brilliant and bright." And then she simply went on to say that, basically in short, women have lost their modesty and men don't like that. And then women apparently are upset at the fact that she said that that men don't like it, and that the standard that they feel should not be about a man, but it should be about what they want. And for one, it can be about what you want. I think any woman that wants to do what she wants and all of that good stuff should absolutely do that. But that's where the term buy a dog and die alone comes from. Because if you're not willing to do what men want to get one, you won't have one. Or you won't have one of your own. You'll have many who you share with many others. And they will also pass over and around you with many other women. That's just how it works. But if you want the lifelong connection, then you do have to understand that men have preferences. And the reason why I really want to talk about it is because I realized two things about this. One, women have no clue what men want, how the dating market works. And two, they make a huge mistake in that they don't understand what men, well, I won't say it that way. I'll say fundamentally, this isn't even just on excuse me, this isn't even just on women. Most people don't understand how the opposite side looks at potential partners. So, huge difference between men and women. Men look at where you are and what you are and how you present. Women look at potential and projection. So, a woman will see a guy and go, he's on this path, he's in this field, and in this many years, he's going to be worth X amount more. And then they plan accordingly. Best example I can give is I knew a young man who was conventionally not attractive, socially awkward, bit of a recluse, but one of the smartest people in the room, had very good parents, so they had him steered in a very good trajectory to the point where I think he graduated high school early and then got into some sort of a early pre-stage medical something, and he was on course to be a surgeon. And I told him, I say, look, man, be careful with these girls because they see you as an account with a high yielding interest that is worth a lot in the long run, and they will lock you down for that purpose. And like many young men do, he kind of heard me, but he didn't fully listen. Couple months after the conversation, because the girl he was talking to at the time I knew was not of his caliber. And it wasn't even that she was it wasn't that she was an unattractive girl or anything like that, but her mindset showed me that this was not the type of woman that he should be tethered to, given the trajectory that he had. He still messed around with her anyway, like many young brothers do. I was guilty of this at the time as well. And sure enough, a few weeks after the conversation I had with him, maybe a couple months, she shows up. I'm pregnant, it's yours. And I said, well, brother, you're going to have to do what you got to do. You got to man up, take your responsibilities and everything or whatever. I don't know how it played out. I don't even know if it was his. But I say that to say, women look at a guy, and I always even advise young men, pay attention to the questions that they ask on dates. Men ask questions about hobbies, interests, past like activities. Women ask questions like education, career, plans of the future and everything like that, because that's how they look at it. So with that being the case, on the opposite, men look at women as they are. And this is the thing that I think was missed, because Ms. Rashad didn't go into full detail about it. And this is why I think a lot of women were upset about it, and they start pulling out that whole pick me word. When you show up in a dating environment as a woman, you are auditioning, interviewing, however you want to word it, for two different positions, wife or girlfriend. And you will be placed in the position that you show the most qualifications for. Meaning, if a man engages with you and you are all about going to the bar, throwing back shots, getting on the dance floor, dropping it low, twerking, you know what I'm saying, getting freaky in the back seat of the parking lot, doing freaky stuff on the highway while he's driving, you're a girlfriend, because you're so much fun. That's a girlfriend. If you demonstrate that you have domestic qualities, your place is clean and neat, you know how to cook, you don't always want to go out, you are soft-spoken, not argumentative, you're edifying to him, you are trying to do things to consider and boost him, you don't try to make everything always about you, you demonstrate that you have submissive qualities, that's a wife. And if you don't believe me, look at anybody you know who got in a relationship and got a ring in a year's time or less versus people who are perpetual girlfriends. And then look at their behaviors outside of that. Once you do that, I can rest my case, because it's going to tell you exactly what I just said. The women who demonstrate the qualities that are ideal for a wife get rings. The women who demonstrate qualities that are ideal for a fun time get treated for a fun time. And so this is what Miss Rashad was trying to tell you. And then you have all the women who jump out and jump on the grams and the TikToks or whatever to counter it. And here's why this happens. And I think this is something that many young people don't know. And most people, even my age, never did the homework or the backstory to know why this phenomenon happens. women are the gatekeepers to purity. So when it comes to a social environment like we have now, the reason why women are so incredibly giving of their bodies is because women are incredibly accepting of women being given of their bodies. If you know a girl, if a woman knows a woman who is sleeping with a man who's in a relationship or married, she says nothing. She may talk about her behind her back a little, but she says nothing. A lot of times she often will say, well, go ahead, girl, do your thing. Do you, boo-boo. Live your best life. Slay. If a woman is sleeping around, she will be told by her peers, who are women, that it's her body, she should be liberated, she should have the fun she wants, she should be able to do what she wants, she should be able to whatever. And any woman that does the opposite of these things is called a pick-me and all these other things. But back in the days when women were virgins, before they got married, you couldn't sleep with a married man, because all the women in your town or your city would look at you as a whore or a harlot or a homewrecker or a slut, and you would be shunned by all of them. You couldn't go to the family parties and the dinners and stuff. You could not go and stand next to them in the town square and things like that. They would turn away and shun you because they knew that any woman that would sleep around with any husband would sleep around with any other husband, and they did not want to be put at risk. They wanted their families intact because they understood the value of a nuclear family. So a lot of people say, oh, well, if men stop doing it. No. What will happen, or what would need to happen, is women have to stop thinking it's okay. The day that women decide that it is not okay to have sex out of wedlock is the day the process begins that all of that stuff rolls back. Because as much as people want to cite the statistics of assault, that number is very small. The amount of people that's doing this stuff is in the 90 percentile, probably the 98 or 99 percentile consensual. Because they can. And if you really don't believe that, find a man that's promiscuous and ask them where they go to find women they can be promiscuous with, and they're going to tell you they go in the places where they know that the women are most likely to be of that caliber, meaning they go to bars, they go to nightlife, they go to clubs, because they know that in an upscale lounge and a PTA meeting or something like that, you're less likely to find that type of a woman. And all men know where those type of women are. If I have a buddy that comes in town right now, is like, yo, I'm trying to find somewhere so I can pick up somebody for the night, I know where to go. I don't go to those places, but I can find one because I know what the environment is. I know it instantly. It's not that hard to figure out. I'm not going to take them to like any of my jobs. Like even when I DJ, the environment that I DJ in for social dance parties it wouldn't work. It's not the same. I would never take somebody there that was looking to hook up, because it's not. You know what I mean? I would go to, if you're not from Michigan, you would know, but I would go to like Novi and go to Fountain Walk. Because I just know I was a young man once. And I had many friends, and we all know where it is. So it's like, I say that to say, men watch a woman's behavior. And based on her behavior, we know what she is and is not about. And what Phylicia Rashad was trying to tell people is, Men don't want a woman that's constantly showing herself off. And to wrap it up, I can add one more layer to this. Men look at a woman and think, what would my daughter be like if she was the mom? So, no man wants his daughter twerking with her butt cheeks hanging out. No man wants his daughter getting completely wasted, passing out at a frat party. No man wants his daughter on OnlyFans. But men know that for the most part, a daughter learns and tailors her behavior behind what she sees in her mother. So when a man is looking and vetting women, unless they have zero intention of having kids, they instantly think, what would my daughter learn from this person? And so if she's always naked, we know that the daughter is going to be trying to be always naked. We know if she's always drunk, the daughter is going to try to be always drunk. We know that if she sees this woman jumping from relationship to relationship, the daughter most likely is going to do it. We know that if she's argumentative, the daughter's going to be argumentative. We know that if she's not domestic or aggressive or masculine acting or anything like that, that's what the daughter's gonna want to do. Daughters pattern behind moms, and so men are always looking at what is the best possible example I want for my future daughter if I ever have one. And it ain't doing shots and twerking at the bar. So I'm shocked that people are so mad at Phylicia Rashad, but I'm really not, because biblically it's called the Eve complex. A lot of people will say women in this current day and age have this ingrained defiance to anything that sounds anything like following behind or submitting to a man. And the people in these reactions demonstrated that. And so Phylicia Rashad was saying, hey, you should, men don't like when you do that, so you should stop. And the knee-jerk reaction was, no, I should do it more because men don't like it and they can't tell me what to do. And again, like I said in the beginning, that's fine. But if that's your mentality, here's what I can tell you your end result will be. You will either, most likely, you will die single. Or you will find someone to tolerate you so that they can share the roof that you have, and you will not belong to them and them alone. And they will not belong to you and you alone. They will live with you, sleep with you, and do the same with many others. And then there was this other part that somebody says a lot of women have. She said something about not all women want to date men. Some of us have decided to be single and not be bothered. First of all, then why do you even care what she said? Doesn't apply to you and it doesn't matter. But two, that's a lie. Any woman that claims they want to be alone is lying to you. They are doing it because they were forced to. And I almost forgot a point that I wanted to make. There's this term incel that goes around, and it's often applied to men who are introverted and don't really have a lot of action with girls and everything or whatever, but it's basically a term that's applied to men. What many don't know is that term did not start with men. It actually started with women. I remember hearing the first time I heard it was about almost 20 years ago, and I was listening to some women talk, and they said that they were involuntarily celibate. And I'm like, huh? And she was like, yeah, I haven't really been able to get down with anybody. It wasn't my choice. Or they was like some would, you will often hear people say celibate by choice or involuntarily celibate, but it was women saying it because it was not as easy for them at that time. This was 15, almost 20 years ago. So this was before the onset of the Megan Thee Stallions, Nicki Minaj's, Cardi B's, and stuff like that. That generation had people like Brandy, Monica, pre-Insanity Beyonce when she was with Destiny's Child. The idea of sexual liberation hadn't come about yet. So women couldn't just easily go out and find dudes like that. Dudes were getting laid a little bit more because that's just always the way it's been, because there's less dudes than women, I believe. But it wasn't as easy for women, especially if you weren't of the type to just be an outright level 13 like slut. So again, it's just to wrap up, like, being mad at Phylicia Rashad for one is just wild. But understand that she was attempting to give the information of that women just seem to be lost on, which is you dictate your results in your relationships. And like I said, to put it short, when you interact with men, you are interviewing for two jobs: girlfriend or wife. And I mean, if it's a different kind of relationship, then we just is like, you're just another friend. And you'll know girls who hang around guys and they treat them like one of the fellas, or you might get put in the little sister category. But as far as the dating market goes, it's girlfriend or wife all day. And the qualifications are distinctly different. You can't even do both. It don't work. I've seen women try to be the fun and whatever, and I have a few drinks or whatever, but then you can't get up early enough to get up and cook breakfast and clean your kitchen. So like, it doesn't work. And again, what I said, the fact of the matter is, no man wants to see a woman in that state, because then they're going to think my daughter's going to do this, and that's gross. So that's my take. What I say to men is, pay attention. If you see a woman hear something like that, where the idea of put some clothes on makes her mad, let her be mad without you around, like ever. Like that's when you part ways, because she's letting you know that she prioritizes rebellion over conforming to a decent standard of what a woman is. She wants to be the worst of what women can be instead of the worst of what women should be.